season 6, race 6 of my F1 2020-19 career mode. We are here in Spain, Barcelona de Catalunya, Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, for the Spanish Grand Prix, and we just got done with qualifying. I have to say, I'm kind of disappointed by my performance, only because my qualifying pace program I actually passed, which is definitely a rarity for tracks that are not my best. In Spain, it's like, I guess, somewhere in the middle, but yeah, so I guess we'll see how we do in the race. Ricciardo on pole. The Ferraris continuing to show their pace, really, second and fourth, especially coming off of Verstappen's win in the Dutch Grand Prix. And we can look at the championship standings. Bottas leads by 2 over Leclerc. Verstappen could, if he finishes ahead of Bottas, could be a good spot for him in the championship. Leclerc's right there with him. And then Ricciardo, with that pole position, could get back into this thing. But, yeah, we'll see what happens in the race. So, yeah, we'll see what we do here. Spain is normally a race where I strongly consider taking my my engine penalties, but decided not to do that after the pace we showed in
Tough luck there. It's not
practice.
Quite where we'd want to be on the grid, but chin up. It's not the end of the world.
But we can make it up. No rain in the forecast, so that's good. And we'll see how we do in the Spanish Grand Prix.
Welcome along then to what promises to be another fascinating Spanish Grand Prix, a race which saw Max Verstappen win on his first ever appearance with the Red Bull team in 2016. This after the dramatic coming together of Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg on the first lap. Will we see more moments for the scrapbook here today? It's a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today as we await lights out for the 730-metre sprint down to turn 1 at this 2.9-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through these 16 corners, but there's still a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of turn 9. Anthony Davidson, thanks for joining me once again for the Grand Prix. Why don't we discuss McLaren? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Daniel Ricciardo starts from pole position today, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Bottas, Leclerc, Alexander Albon, and Gasly, Sainz, Hamilton, Giotto, and Lando Norris, Ocon, Matsushita, the owner driver, and Kvyat, Stroll, Magnussen, Antonio Giovinazzi, and George Russell, De Vries, Calderon, Aitken, and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Oh, so I guess there is someone in the chat of this video, so I guess it's easier. I've been trying to actually type a response, but I haven't been successful, so I'll just say that I usually like to take my penalties at my worst tracks. Spain's not a bad track, but I guess for me, it's just good for, you know, since it's the test track and everything. It's what I usually go with, but it's up to you, I guess. Usually for me, I go either one of three ways. I either go with Spain as the place where I do my engine penalties. I'll do it all at once, typically. Second choice will be I'd either go with probably Great Britain. I don't know. I'd say Hungary is probably my worst track, or one of my worst tracks. Great Britain's close. So I would go with that as the one that I would usually go with. I think I'll go with that this season. And then, actually, one strategy that I have done in the past that I don't know if anyone else does is sometimes I will decide to take all of my engine penalties in the very first race in Australia, with the idea that by doing that I could just get because I think everyone throughout the season on the grid usually has to take a grid penalty at some point in this game. So my philosophy is, okay, I'll just, put in all new engine components, so I should get the extra one in there, and I'll do it straight away in the first race, so I don't have to worry about the rest of the season. I guess that might depend on whether and I usually end up, coming from 22nd. I usually end up getting in the points in Australia anyway. So it works out. I mean, as long as they finish in the points, that's, it's good enough for me, but yeah, that's one I don't see people normally go with that I like to partake in sometimes. But as far as this race goes, even though we are outside the top 10, we are going to start on soft tires. Yeah, this is a race where the soft tire runners... Actually, I'm trying to remember now. I actually think I'm going to go with the medium tires because as I was talking, I remember the last time I did a race in Spain, and the last couple of races I've done in Spain, is the front runners usually do a two-stop. Usually soft to medium to medium. So, and what usually happens is I'll usually end up getting in front of, on the start, I'll usually get in front of the couple of those top 10 runners that will be starting on softs, and knowing they're going to be on a 2-stop strategy that usually works in my favor for gaining spots. So I think I'm actually going to go with this. I'm going to go with the 1-stop strategy, starting on the mediums, and we'll go from there. No rain in the forecast. Fuel is good. And we'll go to the race. Who did I choose as my first teammate? Apologies, this is sort of new to me. Normally I just record these videos and just throw them up on my YouTube channel.
On the brakes, so put some energy into them and warm the tires as well, please.
I don't normally get people commenting, and it's funny that I have a person in my chat here because up through the first 4 seasons, I would advertise on my Twitter account that I was, recording a race. But, with season 5, season 6, I kind of stopped doing that, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the race. But my first teammate, I decided to go with Calderon, just to see what it was like to have a woman on the grid. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised, because what happened is I dropped her after the first season,
No rain expected for the time being.
I dropped her after the first season, which was my plan. And she's been at Williams ever since, and I'm kind of surprised that they kept her this long. But yeah, that's how it goes, and that's who I went with first. Already been thinking about F1 2021, but yeah, for now we're gonna focus on the Spanish Grand Prix.
The drivers we're racing are Matsushita and Kvyat.
Yep, so we're going to get going here. And I should have also mentioned that Danny Kvyat, he got a penalty. Which is good, because one I don't hate Danny Kvyat, but I don't like the fact that he's in an AlphaTauri right now when they're the 4th best team on the grid. So kind of happy that he's behind me to start. But yeah, we're getting ready to go for the Spanish Grand Prix. Goal is to get within the points after the first lap. And we'll see what goes from there. I timed that poorly. So let's go back to restart. We'll just go back right to the start. And that happens to me every so often. Sometimes I just anticipate it too quickly, and it just doesn't work out. But that one worked out well, so we're good now. And I run to the back of Matsushita almost immediately, which is just wonderful. I did watch Bahrain. It was a great race. I actually, right in the middle of the race, I actually lost. I went to see it with I went to watch it at my dad's, and at his place, they actually lost power for a brief period of time. It wasn't just his house; it was the whole street. So I missed a decent chunk of the race in the middle. I probably missed like 8 or 9 laps, maybe. As Sainz being a nuisance as I try to get by him. Let's try it. That's better. Just have to get in front of him. There we go. All right, I can settle for 8th place right now. I think Bottas actually got off the line and beat Verstappen. He did. So Bottas is in 2nd. He's ahead of the Ferraris, which is critical for Bottas because he's 2 points ahead of Leclerc and and 13 points ahead of Verstappen coming into this race. So he's trying to extend the lead a little bit. And him finishing ahead of the Ferraris will certainly help him in that regard. I just had a horrible run through that final chicane. Matsushita in the Red Bull, he's been okay. He won a race in season 5, I want to say. At China, though that was mainly due to my chicanery and general causing of havoc in that particular race. That was actually the race where I think I did it sometime in December or November, and then I took a long break from the game before coming back. Yeah, the driver moves are driver moves are very exciting in this game, though. I think they put out a patch a couple months ago to sort of tone them down a little bit. Driver moves haven't been as fluid after season, for me at least, after season 3. I guess the only thing I really don't like is how sometimes when I let a driver go, they just get dropped off the grid, which doesn't make a ton of sense, especially if they're a driver who's particularly good. Like, for example,
DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
When Ricardo was my teammate, he won the championship in season 4. And for season 5, I decided to go with Mick Schumacher, because I felt, wanted to get him in F1. And Daniel Ricciardo did not get picked up by a team for season 5, which kind of annoyed me a little bit, because it's like, it's Daniel Ricciardo. He won the World Championship, Drivers' World Championship, and no team is going to pick him up. Like, really weird. Yeah, I don't know what it is, again, since like season 5, since the pack sort of started bunching up, the car just hasn't been, as competitive, which I guess makes sense because the pack is all bunched up. But I feel like I've gotten into more and more of these races where it's a track that I either do really well at, or it's like this where I basically create a long train and everyone in front of me just pulls away to like a ridiculous degree.
Gap to car in front is 5.0 seconds.
Now the strategy for the soft tire runners had them hitting around lap 7, or at least for me when it showed on my screen when I was picking my strategy. So I'm curious to see when all the soft tire runners decide to come in and pit. We're about halfway to that point in the race at this stage. honestly can't wait for F1 2021 to come out. Mainly for the fact that, you know, with the schedule pretty much locked in at this point, we should be getting those new tracks in the game. Like, Imola, and particularly Portimao. Like, I cannot wait for F1 2021, whenever that comes out. I'm, like, super excited to play Portimao. As some people have said, it's Spain, but better. That track just looks so cool. I'm really glad that they have it on the schedule for this season. Really looking forward to watching that. Check something real quick. The season 4 reg change. I'm trying to remember. I think I did pretty well with that. I had to look back at the results, but I'm pretty sure we dominated that season. So if I recall, yeah, it was a season where my team dominated because the final race came down to me and Ricardo for the championship. My teammate, and for those of you who haven't seen that race, I'd highly recommend you check it out. The season 4 finale, because
ahead is 10.9
I was battling Bottas for third, and Ricardo was battling Hamilton for the lead, and they were like 15 seconds or so up the road, or 10 seconds. They were far away, is the point. And Ricardo, I forget where I finished, but I think it was basically if I finished third, Ricardo had to win the race to win the championship. And he was able to get by Hamilton for the lead on the last lap, and pretty much the last point where you could make a pass on that second long DRS straight. Which was, if that was real life, that would be, absolutely incredible, and that's I guess the kind of thing you'd hope for. To have a race, or have a championship go down to the final race.
A new strategy is available
and that one did.
on the MFD. Copy. Eighth place. You're in 8th place. Lewis ahead. Our gap to the car in front.
Messed up that corner. Let's try to do the update for the race to see how far ahead the leader was. Do it on the straight.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option. Confirmed. You're sat in P8. Lewis is ahead of you. The gap to the car ahead is 11.9 seconds. They're on old softs. Signs behind. The gap is less than a second. They're on old softs. The distance to the leader is 21.5 seconds. 6 laps until your pit window is open. 26 laps to go.
Gap, or not the gap, the pit delta is going to be pretty close to the leader. I think Ricardo will probably beat us out. Bottas is going to be close. It's going to be close with Bottas.
Gap to car in front is 13.4
So I'm
seconds.
surprised that none of the front runners have decided to come in just yet. We're already on lap 8. Maybe I'm misremembering, but it seems pretty late for these guys in front of us to be going on the soft tires. Yeah, thank you, Carlos. Well, that didn't turn out well either. God, Carlos, calm down. I know it's your home Grand Prix, but chill out.
Green flag.
I don't want to do that. It's his home Grand Prix. That'd be unfair. Just go past me on the outside. Or if you're gonna try to pass, do it on the outside, or I can shove you wide. There we go.
Use your overtake button more. It's time to utilize some of this energy.
Finally, we got some takers into the pits.
Okay, gap ahead is
Bottas
15.7 seconds.
Blur, I'm guessing. And
Lewis is
Gasly
in for
and
a stop.
Hamilton. Uh-oh, they're going on to hards. That does not look promising for us. Yeah, I was a little concerned when I saw that they were going deep into the run. Now this maybe rethink my whole strategy. Well, thankfully Lewis did make a pit stop just there, so I could pit this time and go deep into the race on the hard tire. Especially when it's pretty clear that the front runners who did pit on softs are going on the hards.
The car ahead of you has just fitted the hard tires. Car ahead now on the hard compound.
Somebody's got a problem.
Okay, clear.
Who is it? One of the Renaults. No, it's Hamilton, our teammate.
Okay, we can take you this lap. Copy that. Hards for next box.
No safety car, though. With Fiat.
Go, go.
Oh.
You'll be racing on the exit. Complete. Go now.
Crap,
That was our
keep me
last
out of the
stop.
pits.
No more scheduled pit stops.
Seriously? You know, Fiat's gonna drive away from me. I want to swear, but I'm not going to. Ugh. I know I'm not going to catch him. There's no way. And Verstappen actually jumped Bottas in the pit sequence, so it's going to work out for him in the championship a little bit. He can keep ahead of Bottas. Right now, we just gotta use our fresh tires to our advantage.
Lewis has stopped the car. His race is over.
I was really hoping I was gonna pull out a safety car, but guess not. Which sucks a lot. Hoping the Williams in front can sort of bottleneck these cars in front of us to help me out a little bit. Especially since, you know, it's for position. Come on, Latifi. You're doing a great job, Latifi. Love your work. Latifi's probably going to get by him here, but we have DRS as well. Thought we can do a dive bomb. Oh, man. Latifi could be doing a little more to help me out. That didn't work. That didn't really work either. Damn. Didn't want to do that. Trying to see if I have wing damage. No, look okay.
The gap to the car behind is 6.6 seconds.
With freaking Latifi holding me up at the worst possible point in the track. Get by him. He's a fellow Mercedes driver. You would think he would help me out. Cut me some slack here.
A new strategy.
Just had to do that. Just once. Oh, I get him that time. Finally. Decent point in the track. Got a sickening feeling that I'm gonna get knocked out of the points here. Trying to think about who else hasn't stopped. And I feel like they're really going to jump me here. Kvyat catches all the brakes, I tell ya. Catching these slow cars at all the right places. Screw him.
To the car in front is 1.6 seconds. battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button more.
Coming up on Lance Stroll in the Racing Points. Beat him out of the pits. And yeah, so I guess unless there's a safety car, we're freaking stuck in P13, which is just lovely. Right where we started. Yeah, the whole strategy thing just threw me for a loop there. The front runners who started on softs have almost never done that. They've never tried to stretch to a one-stop. This career mode, first time this has happened in Spain, so...
The gap to the car ahead is 4.4 seconds.
Thinking about this, I might be taking a break F1 2020 for just a little bit after this race, only because I'm scheduled to get my first COVID shot tomorrow as I record this. And the thing that I've heard is that, particularly for if you're someone who, but I know there are side effects for the vaccine, particularly if you had COVID already. I'm not, as far as I'm aware, I haven't had COVID. But the one thing I've heard is that, like, if you're someone who doesn't have any severe reactions to the vaccine, then one thing you'll get is sore arm, which, honestly comes with any shot. I mean, I had a sore arm when I got my flu shot back in October, so not out of the ordinary, but considering that the next race is Monaco, might be a good idea to take a break from Monaco on a sore arm. Take a break right before Monaco. I'm gonna have a sore left arm, so. Yeah, at this point, just drive around, wait for a safety car, see if I can just run some laps. And I guess to go back to the question I had about the regulation change.
Gap to car in front is 6.0 seconds.
It's easy to keep up with any regulation changes once you get that deep into a career mode because, took the corner wide. It's easy to keep up with the regulations because you really stockpile those resource points. So it's really easy to basically be caught up on everything before, the previous season even ends. So I think unless anything happens to Ricciardo, it's pretty safe to say that he's going to win this Grand Prix. The battle really is between Verstappen and Bottas for second. Leclerc is fourth, but he's sort of fallen off a little bit. I think they probably got mixed up in a lot of traffic, and that helps them get away from Leclerc there. A long race. Spanish Grand Prix always feels really long. I think part of the reason why it's this one feels particularly long is due to the fact that normally around this time we're starting to get ready to see the two-stoppers come in, and we're not really getting that. So. Now I'm wondering if I'm going to be lapped before the end of this race.
Just so you know, we're getting some strange readings from a couple of the sensors. I don't think you need to be worried. It's just some bad data, so keep doing what you're doing, and I'll let you know if we notice any genuine problems. The car behind is dropping back by about 0.3 a lap. Okay, gap ahead is 9.1 seconds. lot of spare energy, use your overtake button. Our gap to the car in front is 11.7 seconds. Increasing our gap on the car behind by around a second a lap.
Bottas sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Chasing down Max Verstappen.
The gap to the car ahead is 11.8 seconds.
Praying for a safety car that we're probably not going to get at this rate. Don't come out this late in the race. Oh, my YouTube. My YouTube is, you just search my name. It's Sean Sedor, Seansedor. It should come up pretty easily, I guess.
gap to car in front is 13.5 seconds. Full course caution.
Oh.
The safety car is out. Keep an eye on the Delta.
Safety car
We need to
is
keep it
out.
positive to avoid a penalty.
That
Slow down. Maintain
It's
positive
exactly what I was hoping for. It's going to depend here. What I do next is going to really depend on whether the leader picks up the
Delta. Drop
safety
your
car
speed.
here.
Our Delta is too low and
looks
we
like
risk
it's
a
going
penalty.
to.
Slow your pace immediately.
Matsushita out of the race.
Right, come in at the end of this lap. Roger that. Soft tyres at the next pit stop. Release, release. We have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
I'm assuming the safety car is coming in this lap, so we gotta hustle here. Catch the back of the pack. Luckily, because of the drivers got lapped, us making that pit stop only dropped us down to 14th place, which is good. So if we go back racing this lap going to be 3 laps to go. DRS, in theory, will be available on the last lap of the race. So let's see what we can do. Pack bunched up. Everyone in front of me is on old hard
let's
tires.
Get ready to go racing again. The safety car is in this lap.
Well,
When the field accelerates, remember, there is no overtaking
on
until the green flags. Safety car in this lap.
fresh, soft tires. And we also have the benefit of the lappers in front of us will probably be causing some consternation and chaos trying to let the lead lap cars go.
There's 4 laps of fuel remaining.
I'm faster than you. Let me go. Who was that? Was that DeFreeze? Come on, man. Oh, Jesus, Russell. You get by Gyalto here.
Let's use overtake and burn some of this energy. We've only got 2 laps of fuel left. DRS has been enabled. DRS is now enabled. You're increasing the gap on the car behind by 0.5 per lap.
Alexander Ricciardo will win the Spanish Grand Prix with Verstappen in second, Valtteri Bottas in third. We'll come home P12. Which at least is one starting position ahead of where we started. Or one position ahead of where we started.
Race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Another Spanish Grand Prix is over, and what a special race it was. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today. And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. That lead at the top of the table has shrunk somewhat today. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
Well, Crofty, Daniel Ricciardo would have to be my driver of the day. It's less about what he did right, but how little he did wrong. Perfect driving.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. No change in the top spot, but with today's points, their hold on the lead is getting weaker. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Alright, and that was the Spanish Grand Prix. Not a good weekend for Monster Energy Racing. I finished out of the points, and Lewis Hamilton DNFs out of the race. See how that affects the standings. Constructors first. We are now 52 points out of first place, though it is very close between Mercedes and Ferrari. Only 2 points separates them and the Constructors. Driver standings-wise, it's still pretty close at the front, though it's starting to become more of a battle between Mercedes and Ferrari, as Bottas leads Leclerc by 5, but leads Verstappen by 10. Ricciardo is now only 13 points back with that win. Myself and Hamilton are just outside of race win range in terms of, we're just over more than a race win behind. So yeah, should be interesting to see how things develop over the course of the season. See if we can get back in the hunt. Alright, let's look at activities, upgrades. Alright, here we go. Just got a call from our colleagues at Mercedes. They finalized a new upgrade package to our power unit. It's great news. Weird that they're bringing a power upgrade to Monaco, but I think I mentioned this in previous videos, but what they're referring to is this stuff over here, which we were not able to secure with our resource points because you can't, because they're constructor-wide upgrades. So, there you go. Now, to fill up our area here.
Our new parts have been completed without issue. They'll be on the car ready for the next race week.
Alright, well, don't know when I'll be back for the Monaco Grand Prix, but that is the next race, so I will see you at the next race.